with it. This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you. You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew. And I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hates, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us, that they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye, Ben. Goodbye. The question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular? How many more articles is his father going to write under a pen name, Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire, under the pen name Hank Berrien, as he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature. He's one of these belly creatures, sliver on. The question is, how many more weeks and years do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant?
Yo, we love Candace, okay? Over here, at least, we do love Candace. Now, I find that kind of interesting that I think despite the lawsuits, NDAs, whatever the case may be, Candace always held back on coming after Ben directly, by name at least, or just being vicious with it. You know, she's always been a little reserved in that sense because she did used to work for the Daily Wire. Personally, I'm glad that Candace called out Ben Shapiro. Now, I was a big fan of Ben Shapiro at one point. I still believe in a lot of stuff that he does say, and I agree with them. And I do think he does give really good advice to young men. He has a lot of wisdom, okay? But ever since October 7th, it exposed a big part of what Ben Shapiro truly believes. And I think when it comes to the youth or everybody on social media, there is a lot of people that are turning against Ben Shapiro. And I think it's very evident that when it comes to our relationship with Israel, whatever side of the fence that you do sit on, Ben Shapiro, it just appears that he, no matter what, in every situation, he does, his loyalty, let's just say, is just strictly to Israel first over America. And I think a lot of Americans do have a problem with that, and that's the reason why they do gravitate to other online voices, you know, whatever it may be, a Nick Fuentes, it may be a Ian Carroll or alternative media. And I think a lot of people, they want to, if you're very patriotic and you do love the country and you want to focus on America, I think Ben just comes off very cringe to a lot of people. And so they have this AMFEST event from Turning Point, and he actually did spend 20 minutes coming at conspiracy theorist Candace Owens. And yo, check out this clip.
Evidence. So when Candace Owens says, "I don't know, but I know," that is retarded, and we are all more retarded for having heard it. When Steve Bannon, for example, accuses his foreign policy opponents of loyalty to a foreign country, he's not actually making an argument based in evidence. He's simply maligning people that he disagrees with, which is indeed par for the course from a man who was once a PR flack for Jeffrey Epstein. Check the record. Our duty to provide you evidence means we actually have to do much more than just ask questions. Just asking questions is something my 5-year-old does, and it's really cute when it comes from my 5-year-old. But when grown men and women spend their days just asking questions without, seeking answers, they are lying to you. In fact, they're doing something even worse. They are seeding distrust in the world around you, and they are enervating you in the process. So, for example, if many speakers, including Tucker Carlson and others, get on stage here at TPUSA and claim, without proper evidence, that Jeffrey Epstein was running a Mossad rape ring being covered up by the Trump administration, they are not actually uncovering a conspiracy or effectuating a solution. They are claiming a special provenance to information they won't let you see, which builds their power and leaves you with none. They are also implicating in their speculation actual human beings, good human beings, like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi, and yes, the President of the United States, even if they're too cowardly to say President Trump's name. And that means you won't trust those good people in the future. You haven't gotten smarter, you've just been manipulated. When forced to demonstrate their evidence, these same people will often refuse to provide it. They'll claim ignorance. They'll pretend they're outside the system, and they don't have access to actual information. They're just asking questions. But many of these same people have direct pipelines to informational sources. So, for example, if Tucker wants answers to his questions about, say, Jeffrey Epstein, he could call the Vice President of the United States. He's quite close with him. But he won't, because that might undermine the empty speculation. None of this means there aren't actual real conspiracies in the world. Of course there are. But actual conspiracies require actual evidence. Yes, there was a Russiagate conspiracy, and we know the names of the people involved and what they did.
So there's no surprise. A lot of people do hate Candace Owens, so there was no surprise in seeing a standing ovation for Ben Shapiro coming at Candace Owens. Even a lot of Candace Owens fans are actually turning on her as well, because they believe she's going way too far down the conspiracy route when it comes to Charlie Kirk's death, and people think she copped a plea when meeting with Erica Kirk and not standing on any type of business. So that is one element as well. After his speech, he did go on to have a Q&A. Someone did ask about the USS Liberty, and if you've been following Ben Shapiro for a long time, you know it's not the first time he's been asked this question. A lot of times groypers do show up at these events and do ask about it, and he always replies with the same thing: oh, it was about 60 years ago, who cares? In which, in reply, groypers say, what about the Holly, basically? If that happened a long time ago and it's still relevant, how come the USS Liberty isn't irrelevant? It happened 60 years ago. So that's one thing that's interesting as well. And here's Candace's full response.
I am done with it. This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you. You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew, and I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hates, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us, that they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye, Ben. Goodbye. The question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular? How many more articles is his father going to write under a pen name, Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire, under the pen name Hank Berrien, as he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature. He's one of these belly creatures, sliver on. The question is, how many more weeks and years do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant? an open-ended question. Of course, what followed Ben Shapiro on stage is somebody who Charlie Kirk loved very much and who he fought for to the very end against the Jewish donors who were pressuring him, some of them because Ben Shapiro insisted that they do. That is Charlie Kirk's true legacy, and that is Charlie Kirk's true friend, just as I was and am and will continue to fight and ask questions about who killed Charlie Kirk. And to people that are at home, I implore you to wake up to these people who believe that they are contract lords. I challenge Black Americans to wake up to your true history, because your quarrel is not with white men, okay? Wake up to who publishes these books and keeps us warring with one another. Christians versus Christians, right? Christians versus Muslims. Wake up and learn the true history of slavery, because that wasn't exactly a white men sport, okay? Jewish people were the ones that were trading us. Jewish people were in control of the slave trade. They've buried a lot of it, but it's there, and you can find it. I think all of us need to wake up to this, because it's making me absolutely sick that he is so bold that he dare sit near Charlie Kirk's chair, that he dare grace that stage when Charlie Kirk knew exactly what Ben Shapiro was and will always be. So again, on your belly, Ben Shapiro.
So it looks like the gloves are off. I predict a lot more insults, vicious attacks in the upcoming weeks. And the thing about Ben Shapiro, which I would respect more, I think a lot of people would respect him a lot more if he would actually, instead of going on a public, popular event stage and bashing his enemies, that he just have these actual debates live on YouTube or whatever platform directly and address head to head all of these things. Even Alex Jones challenged him right after, being name dropped about the conspiracy theory stuff. And I don't even think Ben Shapiro entertains all these challenges. Nick Fuentes has always challenged them publicly. He's never took on that. I don't think he's gonna debate Candace Owens live anywhere. And I think Ben Shapiro needs to take on a lot of these challenges, defend himself. And if he's actually an intellectual debater and he's in the right, I think it's gonna benefit him if he truly believes that. It's going to benefit him to just actually destroy these people live, but he doesn't take them on because he knows that it's not going to be a good look for him and his audience and his fan base. A lot of people are already switching sides and watching alternative media, and I just think it's not a good look if he does go down that route. Which, that's the thing. For example, even Charlie said in the text messages exposed that they've been fighting this Nick Fuentes guy for 6 years, and basically they've been fighting Nick Fuentes for 6 years, as stated from Charlie Kirk's text messages. What happened during those 6 years? He just keeps on growing. If you want to kill a snake, you have to chop off the head. So why not come for the head and take out this growing threat in your guys' eyes head on, destroy it. But now you guys, a lot of people don't like the Daily Wire. They don't like Ben Shapiro and a lot of their beliefs in their movement. It's because it just shows up. It's kind of ironic if Ben Shapiro's calling people cowardly on stage and stuff like that, but what have they been doing the past 6 years? They've been sweeping everything under the rug, avoiding all the difficult conversations, difficult opposition, and that just makes people find and search, do whatever. Some of these people may be banned, like Nick Fuentes, on certain platforms. It makes you go down the rabbit hole, learning one thing. Okay, why is this guy banned? Why is Ben Shapiro avoid certain questions about USS Liberty? Why are people looking up Nick Fuentes? And I think it's a result of you guys sweeping this problem under the rug, your guys' problem in your guys' own words. It's you guys are avoiding it, and here you guys are, and the opposition is big as ever, and a lot of people are turning on your own fan base, or turning on you. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. That's just a few of my thoughts. Peace.